Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, World of Wrestling, back here with boxing news and rumors, episode number 5. We're going to go over my top 3 favorite, or top 3 articles I want to discuss with you guys. Maybe a 4th article I'll go over with you guys on this video today. I do apologize about last week that I did not provide an actual video for for boxing, but I just was so swamped with other things I was doing. I managed to get the MMA video done, but I was just so burnt out from doing the videos and so forth that I just couldn't do anymore. I was tired as shit. So one last time, I'm going to cover this shit with Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, because this has been a heavy talking factor since March 1st. This took place on March 1st, and this shit is still being talked about with Gervonta Davis. Lamont Roach is being asked questions about Gervonta Davis' punching power. WBA officials issue a response towards the situation with the so-called knockdown that I believe should have been called a knockdown, since he kneeled down and whatnot. It made no sense whatsoever. The decision about reversing the call and giving it to Lamont Roach was stated to stay the same. They state that the fallout continues following the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight on earlier this month on March 1st. The pair fought out a majority decision draw at the Barclays Center in New York, but many boxing fans believe that Roach should be the new WBA lightweight champion. That is due to the controversial 9th round where Davis voluntarily took a knee and retreated to his corner, though referee Steve Willis chose not to give him a count. It proved crucial on the scorecards, as scores of 15-13 Davis and 114 twice meant that a 10-8 round to Roach in the 9th would have been enough to earn him the win. Willis has come under criticism for his decision, with many in the sport calling it one of the worst calls they have ever seen, but the WBA have now offered their official take on how things unfolded, revealing that they see no issue in how he handled things. I find that absolutely mind-numbing. Nobody gives a shit that you got shit in your fucking eyes from putting hair grease in your hair. You shouldn't have hair grease in your hair to begin with. You're going to be fighting. You're going to be sweating. What the fuck do you got hair grease in your hair? You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. This makes no sense. I swear to you guys, when I look at some of these articles, and I do have a lot of articles I save and bookmark on my phone for me to discuss with you guys, there are so many articles I save, and most of them are just drama bullshit. I swear, boxing compared to MMA has got so much drama. It's like they're trying to oversell you on their product. With the fighters, that is. The promoters, they just do what they do, like Dana White does. They go ahead, they book the fights, and the fights take place, and who wins, wins. That's it. That's all they do. There's not so much drama with the promoters. It's the fighters that cause the drama. I don't understand this illogical shit. This is like fucking insanity. And they're all like, they got their own cliques too in boxing. Like, this is like watching WWE, only it's not predetermined or anything. That's the only difference. It's fucking crazy. From our perspectives, Willis' decision was not unreasonable or unjustified. He ruled in real time that Davis had not been struck by a punch before going down, and therefore no knockdown should be recorded. Judges by regulation must follow the referee's rulings. They do not have the authority to override his decisions on knockdowns. Some skeptics have suggested that Willis' call benefited Davis unfairly, but we do not subscribe to that notion. In our long experience judging fights, we have seen no evidence of favoritism, or only referee prioritizing the physical safety of a fighter who appeared compromised by an eye injury. He did not have an eye injury. He had fucking hair grease going in his eyes. Which I don't understand. Why the fuck would you go ahead and have that in your hair while you're in the middle of a major fight? That makes no fucking sense. That's what's killing the sport of boxing, man. This shit is just fucking... It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, in other news, Bruce Carrington is declaring war on Nick Ball's roughhouse reign, demands title fight to cement his featherweight supremacy. I like this. Bruce Carrington versus Nick Ball. That's a good fucking fight. I definitely want to see that. That's a definite thumbs up right there. Bruce Carrington actually does have a fight next week. He's on Top Rank Boxing on March 29th. I will keep an eye out for that, and I'm probably going to be watching that event. That should be a really good fight card and so forth. But yeah, highly ranked contender Bruce Carrington let WBA featherweight champion Nick Ball know that he wants his title shot against him next. Ball, who's 22-0 at 1 draw and 13 knockouts, has been milking his WBA belt since capturing it last year against Raymond Ford and treating the talented number 2 ranked Carrington, who's 14-0 at 8 KOs, like he doesn't even exist on this planet. Ball needs a win over a high-profile fighter to make his fight against Naoya Inoue, the Japanese fighter in Japan who's fucking a killer. I don't even know if Bruce Carrington can actually beat this dude. To make the fight with the Japanese fighter much bigger, and Carrington would be the perfect guy for him to add to his resume. Of course, the British fighter Nick Ball lacks the bravado to take on the talented American Carrington. It's understandable. Yeah, he's a fucking good fighter, that's why. This is another thing about boxing. These fighters can dictate whether or not they want to face an opponent. And I personally think that sucks. You're a champion. You defend the fucking title against the next man up, the guy that is ranked near your title. And if you don't want to do that, then you should be surrendering your belt. You don't do that in UFC. UFC, Dana White calls it. He says this is what it is. You do it, or otherwise, you lose your belt. There's no backing out. You eventually face these fighters. John Jones and Tom Aspinall is a guaranteed fight that's going to take place later on this summer, probably in August. I would imagine they're probably going to make Tom Aspinall and John Jones the fight of the last fight that we're going to ever get during the summer. And why not being in August, being being in that time frame in August? I think that would be great. That's a great way to close out the summer. I think that's going to be a great fucking fight. But in boxing, you can do that. If you're the champion, you can dictate and pick whoever you want to face and just cherry pick whoever it is. Which I think sucks. I don't like that. This kid, Bruce Carrington, is really good. I've seen him fight a couple of times, and he's pretty talented. Nick Ball ain't no pushover. This would be a very close fight, and I think it would be fun as hell to watch. But anyway, Ball's recent opponents show that he's not taking any chances of losing his fish bait to lure the Japanese star Inoue. He obviously doesn't want to lose his WBA belt because without that, he's nowhere. That's fucked up. Then you're not really a star. The belt makes you a star, not you. Which in wrestling, guys, if you don't know about wrestling, the one that the champion makes the belt. The belt does not make the champion. The belt is shit. It's a prop. Whoever's holding the title, it makes the belt prestigious. The belt's just a belt. It's a fucking object. It's nothing more than that. And Nick Ball pretty much making him seem reasonable and making him relevant is not exactly the way you want to be. Carrington would be a real threat to Ball, who is easy to hit and seems to turn his fights into foul contests with the roughhouse tactics he uses to win. Last Saturday, Ball had a devil of a time beating the old veteran TJ Duhaney, getting a boxing lesson for 6 rounds and resorting to a ugly witch's brew blend of MMA and WWE wrestling tactics of frustration. The southpaw Duhaney was lighting the 5-2 Ball up with left hands all night and teeing off on him. If not for the 38-year-old TJ's right eye closing up, he might have won. I hate to think what a younger version of the Ireland-born Duhaney would have done to Nick Ball last Saturday. Here's a quote. No, he probably the most challenging in terms of his size, and that maybe said, and that's maybe, said Bruce Carrington to YSM Sports Media when asked if WBA featherweight champion Rafael Espinoza is the best fighter in the 126-pound division outside of himself. I'm just saying that because his size, he's obviously a factor. The best guy in the division, I feel, is Stephen Fulton because he's the most accomplished in the division. He's a 2-time world champ. He's fought a lot of tough guys, probably the toughest guys than any of the other champions have fought, and he's proven himself. He's the best guy in the division. 100% said Carrington when asked if that's the reason why he's pushing for a world title fight against WBC champion Stephen Fulton. I think that would be another good fight. I want to fight the best, and I'm eager to show the world that I am the best. I continue to say I'm the best and proving it every time I'm stepping in the ring. I just feel it's my time. It's the moment, and I'm ready to seize it. 2025 is my year. I agree. I think he is. Stephen Fulton would be a great fucking opponent for him. I think he would beat Stephen Fulton. I don't think he would have any issues with him. Stephen Fulton getting knocked out by the Japanese fighter Inoue, I think kind of fucked him up. He lost another fight after that here in the States, and then he came back with a very good victory against a good fighter. He's not shit either, but he ended up winning this fight most recently. I think it was in February 1st from the Premier Boxing Championship, where David Benavidez and David Morale went at it in the main event. I think that was the card he was on. And he won that fight. So he managed to take a two-fight losing streak and turn it around and finally get a W. But yeah, Stephen Fulton I think would be a great opponent if he can't get a fight with Nick Ball. And I've noticed another thing: a lot of the British fighters have a lot of trouble against United States fighters, a lot of times. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and cover. Well, actually, there's one more I'm going to cover here. I'm going to actually give you guys a fourth article, which is about Dana White starting his own TKA promotion boxing organization with the championship body, the organizational bodies involved with the championships, and him possibly getting involved in that at some point later on this year, starting in 2025. So I'm going to cover that as well. But a big fight that was talked about that could possibly be in the works is Bivol versus Benavidez. There is a rumor that Bivol says that this fight is just a bunch of talk right now. It's not a legit thing that's taken place just yet. I think this fight is a very good one. Bivol is actually probably going to face Benavidez in a third matchup. Yeah, Benavidez. But yeah, I think that David Benavidez versus Dimitri Bivol would be a great fight. I think Bivol would end up winning the fight, though. I think he's a better fighter than David Benavidez. So the undisputed light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol and his WBC mandatory opponent David Benavidez are close to finalizing a deal for a fight this summer on yet to be determined date and location. Bivol's promoters at Matchroom and Benavidez at Premier Boxing Champions are putting the deal together, allowing Dimitri to keep his 4 belts. Last week, the WBC ordered Bivol to begin negotiations with Benavidez. Bivol 24-1 with 12 knockouts, and Benavidez with 30 wins, no 30 wins, no losses, and 24 knockouts, with a deadline of April 8th for the talks to be completed. Negotiations near end. Attention, PBC and Matchroom are very close to finalizing a deal for Bivol and David Benavidez to face off this summer. Fans want to see Benavidez get his shot at the 4 belts at light heavyweight, as he earned it with his win over David Morrell. It was a close fight, though. David Morrell was right in it. I wouldn't say that is 100% David Benavidez showing domination over David Morrell last month in February. Moreover, there's declining interest in seeing a third fight between Bivol and Arthur Benavidez. Beterbiev, after their previous 2 were more chess matches than entertaining brawls. That's where Benavidez comes in, and his specialty is fighting, slugging it out with his opponents in nonstop action, and that's what fans from the U.S. and worldwide prefer to see. He's got the kind of style that people in the modern era like to watch. Bivol will whip his ass, though. He's a technician fighter. He's a guy that looks for opens and actually fights legitimately. He doesn't try to brawl like he's a fucking, in the streets type of shit. He literally actually fights, boxing style-wise. That's why he beat Canelo Alvarez. I mean, give me a fucking break, man. The winner of the Bivol versus Benavidez fight can face former 4-belt champion Artur Beterbiev, or if he's feeling brave, Canelo Alvarez, or the two. Of the two, Alvarez would likely only fight Bivol because he's not someone he would have to worry about being knocked out. There's no word yet from Turki Al-Shir about whether he'll attempt to push for Bivol to fight a trilogy with Otar Beterbiev. Turki is believed to want that fight, and some feel he's not confident that Bivol can beat Benavidez. What the you gotta be fucking crazy. Bivol stands a better chance of defeating the 40-year-old Benavidez than he does the Mexican monster. Bullshit. Only way to find out is actually have the fight take place. The punishment that Otar Beterbiev dished out in the 12th round against Bivol last month in their rematch on February 22nd, it would be like that in every round against Benavidez. He would be lightening Bivol up, forcing him to stay on the move and try every trick in the book to survive. If Turki decides he doesn't want Bivol to fight Benavidez, it won't happen. I don't know why he would want this match to go down, because the chances are high that Bivol will lose. You're fucking nuts, dude. He's not going to get a rematch with Canelo coming off of a loss to Benavidez and being beltless. That I agree with. If he loses the fucking belt, he loses out on a rematch with Canelo. But why would he want to give Canelo a fucking rematch anyway? He already beat Canelo Alvarez. The only other thing I can think of that why he would give him a rematch is, one, he beats a guy like Terrence Crawford, number one. Number two, he's got all the belts this time around in this rematch, and it could lead to a bigger payday. That's about the only thing I can see coming out of this. So that's about the only thing I can see why he would give him a rematch. Otherwise, I don't know why Bivol would want to give fucking Canelo Alvarez a rematch in this shit. That's just fucking crazy. I want to cover here tonight on episode number 5 for Boxing News and Rumors. WBC president won't put obstacles in Dana White's way. We support those who promote boxing. So Dana White wants to go ahead and start his own boxing promotion through TKO, the company that owns WWE and UFC. They want to go ahead and get involved in this because they want to take Nick Khan, the businessman for WWE, and Dana White, have them work together with this boxing promotion and get a roster together so that they could start promoting their own fights through Dana White's his way of doing things from the UFC style of things. I like it. I think Dana White will be very successful, and I think he could be a possible help to boxing overall. He might even get fucking super ass rich off of this shit, along with Nick Khan and TKO. Because boxing needs a shot in the fucking arm. I mean, they got some names. They got some guys out there that if you really pay close attention to and you really get into the sport of boxing, you'll see that they're very talented. They're just not mainstream. UFC and WWE are more mainstream than boxing is. Which is fucking sad because boxing's been around for fucking forever. Compared to WWE and UFC. WWE's been around since 1970s. So, I mean, they were called the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and then they turned it to World Wrestling Federation from that point on, and of course changed the name to World Wrestling Entertainment. But Dana White running boxing, a boxing organization, from booking fights, and what he has done in the UFC, turning that into a multi-billion-dollar company on his own, without even having, fucking TKO being involved in it from the beginning, I think it's very impressive. And I believe with the backing of TKO, the money that they could fund to this and what he could produce, I think it would be successful as hell. He just needs the talent, the name that he can get, and pull them from those areas. And I think if it starts becoming successful, there's going to be a lot more boxers in the world of boxing that are going to want to be part of his promotion. And for all we know, he over maybe 20 years or so, he might actually be able to. I mean, this might be far fetched. Some of you boxing aficionados might tell me I'm fucking crazy for saying this, but boxing might be under the realm of what Dana White does. He may actually be able to pull that off and be the only promoter walking. Because I'll tell you what, Eddie Hearns, he's good. He had some good fights together and all that. Golden Boy Promotions with Oscar De La Hoya, he's done some good stuff with his promotion. Top Rank Boxing, I'd say, is the best, personally. But Matchroom, yeah, they're fucking all over the place. They're the top notch promotion in boxing, right now, in my personal opinion. Even though when they do have crossover promotional fights, they always end up losing. Eddie Hearns always looks like a fucking schmuck at the end. Queensberry Boxing, starting to get up there now that they signed a legitimate deal with DAZN, to get mainstream viewership from the United States, because a lot of people don't even know fucking half of the shit from Britain and the UK and all that. But Dana White getting involved in boxing, he may pull out some blow some people's minds with some of the boxing cards he could pull off. And he doesn't have to do a shitload of fucking fights either. I mean, you could do like 3 main card fights that are super duper good that people will be very interested in. I mean, shit, these fights usually last up to like 30 minutes to 36 minutes anyway. Majority of them that go to 10 to 12 rounds. You have 3 fights there, and then mid card, like prelim fights that are like 6 to 8 rounds a pop. And do like 4 or 5 there. Have like a total of like maybe 8 fights total. 3 big ones, and then like 4 or 5 minor ones that are prelim fights. I think it was more suitable. Have the fights go the same style that Dana White does it. He doesn't sit there and have long, drawn out conversations. He does the conversations in the beginning, and then the rest of the card is just worked through until the very end, and then they do more talking at the end of the fucking event. Boxing doesn't do that. They stretch this shit out for a long period of time. I mean, like, literally, I've watched a couple of boxing events on pay-per-view and have sat through these, and they feel like they go on forever. It's like, will you ever end? Like, the Bivol Benavidez fight, I watched that. I started watching it at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The event did not end until 6:30. That is 6 hours worth of fucking content. Who the hell is going to sit through all of that shit? I mean, then again, you look at UFC fight cards and they do pretty much the same thing. And that's only with pay-per-views, when you do the prelim and the main card. But these guys, they fucking have main cards that go fucking 6 hours. That's just crazy. Just fucking crazy. And half of the fighters that are on these cards, you don't even fucking know. Unless you fucking really dig into this shit like nobody's business. Me personally, I think it fucking sucks. But yeah, I think Dana White could pull off, giving us a new presentation of how boxing pay-per-view events should go. And he said him and Nick Khan and TKO in general, the company that owns WWE and UFC, that they're going to be working out the kinks and finally come up with their first fight card by 2026. and they are definitely under, getting this thing rolling. And I look forward to seeing what his first fight card is going to be like under a boxing type of presentation. Because I think he's going to give off a presentation that boxing has never seen. It's straightforward, in your face. He does it the way he does with UFC. People will appreciate watching that than what boxing gives us now. I think it will change a lot of how boxing presentations are when it comes to pay-per-views or regular fight cards that you can watch on the Zone or ESPN Plus. Because personally, I find it to be a little dragged out and kind of annoying. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's their way of doing shit. But I think Dana White's going to change a lot of things in the presentation of boxing overall, in my own personal opinion. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, by the way, by all means, hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, what the fuck you waiting for? Go ahead, hit the channel before I punch you right in the face. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, please, by all means, hit the subscribe button. I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.